No, it's because she's the most skilled athlete. She and Brock Lesnar are the two best athletes in the company. It's not even arguable. But I watch it sometimes and I think to myself, guys, watch when I chop somebody. They go down. Just going back and forth. And the guy that saved, in my eyes, saved WWE, Steve Austin.
I feel like there's only one way we can start this, and
How's
it's
that?
woo! Woo!
Thank you.
So good to see you.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's so good to see you. Last time we talked was about a year ago as you were preparing for your last match.
Yeah.
And, well, so much has happened since then.
And I'm still alive.
Yeah.
Because we've lost 5. We've lost, look at the people we've lost this year since I talked to you.
Wow.
From superstar Billy Graham, The Sheik, Terry Funk, Bray Wyatt. I mean, it actually has been a state of paranoia.
Well, when you think of the profession that you're in, the line of work that you're in, you've lost a lot of friends.
Huh?
You've lost a lot of friends.
I have, yeah. But this year was really losing Bray Wyatt, who I wasn't best of friends with, but his dad and I were very close. And his mother and I were very close. And 35 years old. 36, rather.
Yeah.
So he'd be the same exact age as my son. No, my son would have been 35.
Wow.
And they were all together, all of them together. When I retired in Orlando in 2024, it was Bray, Taylor, his brother, Wes Briscoe, and my son. All there in the same tent at catering.
Wow. With the amount of people, like the amount of wrestlers that die far too young, does it just come to a point where it's just like, I don't know, you get numb to the news now?
Well, I mean, it's this had nothing to do with it wasn't drug related or anything. It's just a health issue that they didn't see coming, And I don't know whether I've heard so many different stories, whether it's COVID related or not, but it just. Yeah, I mean, actually, Billy lived a lot longer than people thought. He's had kidney issues forever, so. And the Sheik with 80, it was normal, but the problem for me is that they're all within a couple of years of my age, So it makes you aware.
Yeah. How many times do you feel like you've skirted death?
Well, I know twice. I mean, the airplane crash would have to be considered one.
Yeah.
And then, of course, in 2017, when I was on life support for 13 days, and ICU for 31, didn't know where I didn't, and then, which a lot of people still don't understand, I didn't know where I was for 6 months after I woke up.
What do you mean?
I had no memory of anything behind me, just going forward.
Wow.
I didn't even know that I lived in Charlotte. Didn't know that I had lawyers. I didn't know I couldn't remember anything for 6 months.
Wow.
That's how I got beat up so bad legally, because I'd forgotten that I had lawyers, and when I was dying, you probably heard this. Everybody was wanting my shit.
Yeah.
Including my agent, who stole about $300,000.
Jeez.
Just because it was all in escrow, and if I was dead, then it would have gone. So she took it all out of escrow and put it in her pocket, including $50,000 from ESPN for the 30 for 30.
So how did it all start coming back to you? How did your memory start coming back?
Just one day it just started kicking in.
No way.
Yeah.
So that's literally the idea of like, do you remember?
Yeah, no, actually it was, I had texts. When I woke up, I actually think I counted it because they wouldn't give me my phone, but I had like 170 texts, right? And half of them I didn't realize. I thought, who is this person? I mean, I saw 704, which is the Charlotte area code, but I didn't know who it was. And then it just started, I just kept it. And while I was sitting there recovering, I was basically sitting in a black chair. I'd never watched Netflix in my life. I'd never watched Prime. Didn't even know what they were. So then I started watching Arrow. Then I watched Webster. And then right on down the line, I've seen them all. What was the one in Chicago with the family, the dysfunctional family that was so popular? The guy was, you remember, with the daughter kind of raised the family. It was popular forever.
I don't. with children? I don't know.
No. This is after that. This is like in the last 5 years. The guy won several awards for it. Damn it.
I don't know.
It's not the bear.
No. That's
We're gonna figure this out.
Yeah.
We have to figure this
do,
out.
Yeah. It was really good.
Did you ever, at that point, maybe go back and watch some of your matches to remember who you were?
No. I had no memory of any of that.
Even what about your family? No memory of that?
Oh yeah, I remember the one when they came to see me and that, but I didn't remember anything about it for 6 months. I mean, it's a strange deal.
That is wild.
And then to realize one day, God, I do remember that. I mean, it just kind of piecemealed itself together.
Wow.
But I could remember everything going forward, and I knew the people, but I didn't know. In other words, I recognized Steamboat; he was there. I recognized Hulk and all that, but
Man.
I didn't remember wrestling those guys.
When you're that close to, maybe
5% chance to live.
that's crazy. Is there one core lesson that comes out of that?
The core lesson for me was to make sure and tell everybody that I cared about in life. I was obsessed with it for 2 years. Just I love you, because you never know when you're gonna say goodbye.
Yeah.
And I also learned it's not worth being at odds with anybody at my age. Whatever happened in the past, it happened, and we all survived it.
So I started the interview with the big woo. I love how you say thank you when someone woos. That's so great.
Huh?
I like when someone says woo to you, you're like, yes, thank you. That's great.
It is. Yeah, it's got me on your show.
I mean, this is the fourth time that we've sat down together. I'm glad that we're sitting down here in person. WOOOO Energy. You can't just say woo. WOOOO Energy. Your energy drink has become such a big thing now.
Yeah, it has. And it's getting bigger every day.
And I didn't realize this until recently. The correct way to spell woo.
5 O's.
5 O's.
It's trademarked with 5 O's, but I can enforce 2. In other words, if, like McDonald's did one more, the guy went woo. And we went right to McDonald's and shut it down. Rather than put me in the commercial or pay me, I don't know what it cost them to shoot on a commercial that a minute-long commercial has to cost them millions to put together. I mean, based on my knowledge of it, especially with the production values.
So you gave them a cease and desist letter for woo?
Yep.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. I also have, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 other. And I basically could shut down all these. Our new approach now is to just try to get the arenas that to carry the drink.
Right. So what's the deal behind WOOOO Energy? Because there's so many different energy drinks.
Okay, hold this. This is what I do right now.
Okay, we gotta point this at you still though.
Okay.
Okay.
I need to pull this off a minute because Bo has this for me.
Okay.
I have to give.
Okay.
I have to give.
We'll point it to you then.
I have to give Bo his shout out here.
Vo is the man behind.
It is a proprietary blend of functional mushrooms that promote all natural energy. Thank you, Bo.
You know how impressive it is, though. Yeah, grab that again, shove it up.
No, because I can never remember all.
You know how impressive it is that you read your phone without wearing glasses?
Yeah, I don't wear glasses. I've had 4 eye operations.
You know how many people just in their 40s are like doing one of these?
$6 million man rebuilt, brother.
I love it. It's incredible.
Yeah, no aches and pains. Knock on wood, right?
No aches and pains?
None.
Is that because of the cannabis? Is that because of Ric Flair drip?
No, it's because God gave me a gift. I mean, my rotator cuffs I've torn and all that, but I have limited range, but I have no pain.
Wow.
So I'll take the limited range, and I'll pay a chick to rub my back if I can't scratch my neck.
When you get up in the morning, does anything hurt when you get out of bed?
No.
You know how jealous people are
I know
now?
they're insanely jealous.
Yeah.
Nothing hurts. Sit down in the black chair, turn on, get up, then take first take. Didn't get the day rolling.
That's so good. So in a few minutes, you're going to hear Ric Flair invite me to go get drinks with him after the interview. I mean, what an honor, right? Having drinks with the nature boy himself. How could I possibly say no? But then I got to thinking, I don't drink nearly as much as I used to, especially since I became a father, mostly because of how you feel the next morning. And I'm like, how am I gonna feel the next morning after a night out with Ric Flair? So of course I said yes, and there's some stories there that I probably won't be able to tell you during this. But before I had drinks, I had Z-Biotics. Z-Biotics pre-alcohol probiotic drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. So here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's actually this byproduct, not dehydration, that make you feel the way that you do the day after drinking. Z-Biotics pre-alcohol probiotic produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. So just remember to make Z-Biotics pre-alcohol your first drink of the night, then drink responsibly, and you'll feel your best tomorrow. The biggest thing for me is if I have drinks the night before, it's so difficult to, number one, get up in the morning, number two, get up and then want to go to the gym. Z-Biotics has completely fixed that. So this Halloween, pair your candy and your cocktails with Z-Biotics pre-alcohol, and you can avoid that spooky feeling the next morning. Go to zbiotics.com/CVV to get 15% off your first order when you use that code CVV at checkout. And by the way, this is backed by a 100% money back guarantee. So if you're not happy for whatever reason, you get your money back. No questions asked. That's zbiotics.com/CVV so you can have a great night tonight. Maybe it's with Ric Flair, but more importantly, you'll have a great day tomorrow as well. How many trademarks do you have? You got Woo, you got Ric Flair drip.
Limousine riding, styling and profiling. Limousine riding. To be the man, you got to beat the man. I've got like 6. Ric Flair drip. Well, I was lucky to get that. Ric Flair drip, styling and profiling, limousine ride, private jet flying. To be the man, like 5 or 6.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Is there one that's your favorite?
Well, I don't have this trademark I'm working on now. None of you can be first, but any one of you could be next. I've actually got the new T-shirts.
Yeah, that's the thing with Doja Cat, right?
Yeah.
Did they reach out to you when something like that happens?
No, I was in Vegas. I'd met her before. I met her when Triller came to Atlanta. Gosh, this is like maybe 2018, maybe 19.
Yeah.
And she was there with Snoop and Ricky Ross and everybody, and I met her. Beautiful girl, really nice. And then she just reached out. She and my wife one day are really good friends. So next thing I know, we're working with them. So,
I mean,
she's big time too, right?
Huge, yeah. Between stuff like that, Ric Flair drip, the song, you're a cultural icon. Again, what's amazing is there's so many people now that are aware of who you are, that might not even know you're a wrestler.
Exactly.
And certainly have never even seen a Ric Flair wrestling match.
For sure. Unless it's YouTube or thank God for the network and the YouTube and all that. And the old interviews. People love those old interviews.
How could you not? I mean, you literally have alligators on your feet right now as we sit here.
Well, I have to live my gimmick, especially I'm over here.
I don't even know if it's...
I had to wear the Rolex, too. I mean, come on.
I don't feel like...
And the biggest diamond I had.
I feel like you probably sleep wearing a Rolex.
I do.
How many Rolexes do you have?
Right now, I have... God, I had like 8. I have 4 left.
What happened to the other 4?
I gave one to my daughter.
Okay.
That I wanted... When I died, or when I was real sick, I woke up saying I gave like my Hall of Fame rings to my son-in-laws, and I gave what Ashley wanted that watch more than anything was the one that Shawn Michaels gave me. and then I've lost like 4 over the years, and what we call escapades. Girls like to borrow my stuff.
They borrow it?
Never to be seen again.
You've lost more Rolexes than most people have.
Mink codes, wallets.
If someone is aware of who you are, Ric Flair's a wrestler, that's crazy. What match do they need to go watch if they're watching their very first Ric Flair match?
But like a really good one?
Sure. Whatever match did we start with?
Steamboat and myself, 89 Chi-Town Rumble. Anything with Steamboat. It's an educational tool. He's that great.
There were a lot of people that thought maybe Steamboat would be your last match.
Yeah. It just didn't work out, for for a health issue wise. Rick had some minor ones. I don't know for sure. It's funny. We probably wrestled each other without embellishing. We probably wrestled each other between 1,500 and 2,000 times. And so many times they were for an hour, right, or an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And we became very close friends, but we didn't socialize a lot. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Rick's a quiet guy, sticks to himself.
Yeah, the opposite of Ric
I
Flair.
mean, he drinks some beer once in a while, but he just keeps to himself, and he's too humble. He's so great. Yeah, he's way too humble for what he was.
When we talked about a year ago, you were leading into your last match, and here we are on the other side of it. When you look back at that, how do you feel like that night went?
Everything went great, including the 9,000 people we packed in there, which was more than WCW or WWE had in the building forever. And then I walked on the ramp, and I just, a combination, I guess, of being nervous and everything. Started out fine, and all of a sudden I don't know, I got lightheaded for a second. I thought, I made a mistake of saying to one of the guys, I don't feel good. Well, they all thought like I was talking like my heart or something like that, and that's the worst thing I did. And then all of a sudden I got real lightheaded, and I was in and out all during the match.
Did you think there was ever a point where you might not have been able to finish the match?
Oh yeah, I was fighting like hell to get through it, but it was just fighting here. Nothing that I felt.
Yeah,
I wasn't hurting anywhere. I just felt bad because the guys, all panicked, worried about my health.
Yeah.
And we had constructed such a great match. If it had come off the way we'd practiced forever, it would have been a masterpiece. But I walked back in the locker room and Taker made me drink 3 Gatorades. and then I went to Kid Rock and drank all night long. Couldn't have affected me that bad with the kid.
So what was missing from the match that we would have seen?
Oh, God, they were going to slam me off the top, suplex me, stuff on the floor. Everybody just panicked. All with concern for me. Not they didn't forget their parts. They just, let's get through this. Doing that. And that's why I had to fake that heart attack. I went, slow down. Jeez, I'm okay. I should have never said anything, right? So then we got a little bit more over the back end, but my son-in-law was going, he had to put the breast sucks on my hand. He's going, wake up, sir. Wake up, sir. Wake up, sir. Okay, here you go. That was it.
Is that for sure your last match?
I go, God, I want to wrestle again right now.
Oh, stop
I feel
it.
Great. Isn't that crazy?
It is.
I feel like, because like Ricky Morton, the guy that I should have chosen for my last match, would have been great. It's Ricky Morton is still wrestling. And, I don't want to go through it. You know what the best thing for me about it was? Is I forced myself to really get in shape. I've heard this from guys over the years that when they were older and I was like in my prime, the older guys would say, man, I'm tired of working out, And there gets a time when you just get bored working out if you don't have a goal. You know what I mean? And it gave me a goal. And I had just attacked it. I didn't stop drinking or anything, but I was literally training 3 hours a day, 5 days a week, in the ring, or I was doing the sled, the ropes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got my bench press up at 2.25. I mean, so from being dead to all that was pretty cool.
How are you able to keep up the pace that you keep up while still drinking?
I don't know. As Vo, I got Vo drinking. I didn't even know Vo drank till he moved down here. Now I got a formula with Vo, right? It's one double 42 on the rocks, right? Then I got to feed him garlic shrimp, okay? Another double 42 or a double margarita. Then I have to buy him the flank steak with the raw egg on it. Then whatever, just to keep him going. But I know how to keep him going. And then if I could find a couple of chicks from the Hank to talk to, and Vo was good.
For people who don't know who Vo is, Vo on the other side of the camera is the man behind Ric Flair. Drip, your Cannabis line,
everybody.
WOOOO Energy, everything.
Yeah, Vo has been side by side with everybody that I love in the world today. I mean, like Joe Namath, he travels on heavy company, man. Kid Rock, who's a good friend. Vo works with everybody.
What is your hangover cure?
I don't have a hangover.
Stop it.
I don't get them.
Ever. You can go as hard as you go and wake up fine?
Well, I don't go as hard. Believe it or not, I have my formula now is like at 5, and I'm home at 10.
So
I don't do the 3 o'clock in the morning anymore. I have in Vegas, of course, but
like you go out at 5, or are you having 5 drinks? Is that what you're?
no, I'll be across the street. Are you overnighting tonight?
Yeah.
You stay overnight tonight?
Yeah.
I'll meet you at the Pearl at 5.
There is so much more to get to in this conversation with Ric Flair, but if you follow me on social media, you might have seen these photos. I've been in the gym pumping up those pythons, brother. No stranger, I'm a big fan of the gym. You might have seen this video in the cold plunge. I'm always doing whatever I can to give myself just that little bit of an edge in terms of my health. And I wanted to get a sauna. Then I saw how much a sauna cost. And then I realized that an infrared blanket like this one from Bond Charge would give me all of the same benefits and just a fraction of the cost. It really helps with detoxifying. I mean, especially if you've been eating badly or maybe you've had one too many drinks. It can also burn a lot of calories to help with weight loss. The sauna blanket works by raising your heart rate to that level of physical exercise so you burn calories while you're just kind of hanging out. I mean, you can burn up to 600 calories in just one session with the Bond Charge infrared sauna blanket. It's super easy to set up. I mean, it sets up in less than a minute, heats up faster than any other infrared sauna blanket on the market. And I think the best part about it is it's really easy to clean. And there's this real feeling after you're done of just like, you're rested and you're relaxed. And I love that. Check it out for yourself, bondcharge.com/CVV. And when you use that promo code CVV at checkout, you'll get 15% off. They've got lightning fast shipping. You got a 12-month warranty. You've got nothing to lose, except some weight and a lot of sweat. Go check it out, bondcharge.com/CVV.
Hell yeah.
There you go.
All right.
That'll be a story. Can I tell all the girls you're coming?
Woo! Just don't tell my wife. No.
She won't. Oh, she's in Orange County.
My wife's watching this. I love you, honey. You're the best. No. Hell yeah, I'm having a drink with Ric Flair.
Oh, hell yeah.
What are we drinking?
Well, Kettle One soda, cranberry lime, a bottle of still water, and a WOOOO Energy.
Make it a double.
Okay.
All right. What's the best WOOOO Energy
My wife's
flavor?
watching too, and yes, I'm going drinking with this handsome guy tonight. There's a new carrot in Tampa.
We are in trouble. What's your favorite WOOOO Energy flavor? Because there's so many good ones.
I like the raspberry.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
There's like a strawberry banana.
It's strawberry banana and pineapple, right?
Yeah.
Lemon and dragon fruit.
Lemon and what?
Dragon fruit.
Dragon fruit, okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I just go I like the red can.
Do you drink every night?
Yeah.
I love it. You say that, of course. Yeah. 7 nights a week. 7 days a week.
Every day.
Amazing.
That's the same thing I told my therapist. My therapist. He said, how many days a week do you drink? I said, every day that I work. I said, how many days a week do you work? Every day. twice on Saturday, twice on Sunday. He said, and you've been doing this how long? I said, 20 years. He was laying on the couch. I was talking to him. Hey, Doc.
That's amazing. When was the first time that you ever said woo?
1974.
Do you remember it?
Yeah, we're gonna have a WOOOO anniversary party in Miami. What's that club we're going to?
Oh, are you going to 11?
Yeah, 11 Club 11.
Wow.
Yeah, 50 years of WOOOO.
50 years of woo. 11, but have you been to 11 before?
I have not.
I lived in
I
Miami.
know. I met the owner. I've never been.
I lived in Miami for 5 years. 11
Yeah.
is a very dangerous place.
Yeah, no, I've never
The
been.
women there do not wear clothes.
No, I've heard that,
Yeah.
but that's overrated for me. I'd rather not wear mine than have them wear theirs.
Is that why you cut so many promos where you took your clothes off?
Exactly.
Those promos are so legendary. What's the mindset behind those promos of you're taking off your jacket, you're taking off your shirt, then you take off your pants?
I don't know. Just trying to be different than the other guys that are out there talking about.
But were those planned out?
No. Coming out of Buckhead, a couple cups of coffee, and there we are.
And then elbow dropping the pile of clothes? You've talked like a lot about how you don't plan out.
Nothing.
You don't plan out the matches, but the promos?
Well, it's the hardest thing I've had to learn over the years when I went to work for Vince, like in the 2000s. I'm already in my 50s, right? But I have to feel the crowd. I don't know how other entertainers feel about it. I know that I'm sure the guys the singers that are top caliber or any entertainer knows what songs people are waiting to hear.
Yeah.
And he'll play the special ones.
Yeah.
I'm sure in accordance with the up and down of the crowd. But for wrestling, if you plan the whole match out and you walk out the door and the reception is totally different than you expect, all of a sudden they don't like you as much as they like the other guy, right? And the guys, they don't have the experience to turn it around. And they could be doing stuff that people are just saying, ugh, but they don't have the experience, and it's not fair for them from lack of effort. It's not because they're working hard.
Yeah.
They just don't have the experience to say, whoa, this isn't working. Slow down, Jack, especially when you're on live TV.
Yeah. But what about the promos? The promos you have?
The promo, the script, I can't do that. I've tried. They scream at me all the time. Oh, Vince one time yelled, 80s heels don't draw. Okay. What does that mean?
Was Space Mountain just purely
Like
spur of the moment?
Just spur of the moment. We're sitting there, and it's bad, the traffic. 85 goes right into 75, right down to Fort Lauderdale. I know because I've hitchhiked down there when I was 15 and 16 years old. So we stayed at the Marriott Hotel on Riverdale Road, which is right on 85. So I was thinking to myself, what can I do to do something? And I said, so all you girls that are on your way to Florida to ride Space Mountain or Fort Lauderdale, you don't have to go any further than Riverdale Road. You can stop for the night and ride Space Mountain to the Marriott all night long. 18 to 28, no boyfriends, no husbands.
At what point do you feel like Ric Flair, the character, and Ric Flair, who's sitting here right now, merged and became one?
Oh, my children will tell you, it's been too long.
Yeah.
To be Ric Flair, I couldn't just turn that on and off. But I wasn't aware of it. Does that make sense?
Sure.
My schedule was just insane.
Yeah.
But if I look back on it, the only part I regret is actually sometimes I would be so tired because I was out every night anyway, which I enjoyed, self-inflicted. But when I had one day off, and let's say I was in Portland, Oregon, instead of flying home for that one day, because I had to be back in some God-known place the next day, I literally would have had 5 hours at home. I wish I'd gone home one of those days just to make an appearance. Because a couple times I was just too tired. I mean, I just had to sleep in one day because I'm on the first flight, wrestle the show, first flight, next day, every day.
I feel like it's so different now. Like
Yeah, well, first of all, nobody could have ever done it with TSA and all that. Back then, you could jump on the plane with 30 seconds left, right? And sometimes I jumped on with one of the flight attendants.
Yeah.
At the same time. Where'd you come from? I don't know, room 202. Me too.
It's so different now. Like I feel like the men and women who are wrestling now, they're not living that same lifestyle now.
No, thank God. Thank God. I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
Do you feel
they still work hard? They work. I would say that their schedule now is like 150 to 155 days.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And if you're on top, the difference now is that if I didn't have to do media all day long.
Yeah.
They are required to do so much media on their days off. They're on Zoom calls and talking at TV stations, and especially when it's like Wrestlemania time or Royal Rumble, one of their bigger events.
Yeah.
If you're one of the top level talent, you're going to New York for a day on your day off. Does that make sense?
Of course.
You're not wrestling, but it's another day.
Yeah. I mean, especially Charlotte. Like
Yeah.
Charlotte's one of the biggest stars.
Oh yeah, she's nonstop.
Do you have conversations with her about when she breaks the record, when she becomes the 17-time champion?
No, but I certainly hope it happens. I don't know what they're doing right now, but who knows? It's got to happen. It'd be the biggest thing in the business. If they really are interested in doing something, because I feel like the women have more empowerment right now than they've ever had, and deserve it, right? But if the biggest thing could ever happen, because John and I talk about it, John Cena and I. Can you imagine us walking down and congratulating Charlotte? What kind of rating that would get on TV to see that finally happen?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's the biggest thing they could do right now.
It felt like for a long time it was going to be John Cena that was going to break your record. John Cena's back right now, but it just doesn't feel like they're setting him up for a title run.
Well, the reason being, and I mean, wouldn't bother me at all. But John's home because of the writer's strike.
Yeah, and the actor's strike.
And I'm not sure why. I think Roman's on some limited schedule. You can't have your champion sitting home. I mean, it affects the arenas, and they want to see in the arena who they see on TV.
Yeah.
So you can't have too many guys like that. But I would have no problem with John breaking it.
It just feels like it's going to be your daughter,
Yeah,
though.
I think so too. I wish for her, and I wish for it for the business. It'd be great.
It doesn't feel like she's going to stop at 17
No.
either. Like, I feel like she could get into the 20s.
Yeah, she's in the best shape of her life. She looks like $1 million. Carries herself impeccably. I mean, I know I'm bragging. I won't get in trouble when she hear all this, but he's asking me, Ashley. I'm just telling him.
I think,
He's initiating the conversation.
I think the most amazing part about her is it wasn't her dream to follow in your
No,
footsteps.
not at all.
It was,
My son.
yeah. And when he passed away, she
A
was like,
lot of what she does, even today, is motivated by him. Even though he's been gone. I mean, she set out to fulfill his dream.
wow. It's amazing because she's going to go down as one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah, absolutely. Man or woman.
Right. Which is like, it's the reverse of your story because I feel like you were put on this earth to be a pro wrestler. Like you were put on this earth to be one of the greatest of all time.
Thank you.
And I feel like she's, I guess, just inherently just great. I don't know. Is this nature? Is this nurture? Is this because she's Ric Flair's daughter?
No, it's because she's the most skilled athlete. She and Brock Lesnar are the two best athletes in the company. It's not even arguable. Brock is a phenomenal athlete, and Brock has learned how to work. I sent him a text the other day. I just said, he was so intimidating when he first came in. I had to work with him too, but he's just a big guy with incredible athletic ability. I mean, that's almost a 40-inch vertical jump when he jumps up on top of the apron. I would have to say that's close to 40 inches, right?
Sure.
At 208 pounds to a 40-inch vertical jump. I don't want to be there the day that he misses and falls on his knees. I don't want to be his opponent. No, he's an incredible athlete. And they've got some really good athletes in the company, but Ashley could have gone to and played D1, three D1 sports if she'd wanted to.
Wow. Where's your relationship with WWE at right now?
It's fine. I don't work for them.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always going to be indebted and be thankful for the relationship over the years. But when you work for them, you're pretty much locked up to anything, and they have a real tough, enforceable contract. So I wouldn't be able to do the marijuana. I certainly wouldn't be able to have the energy drink unless I gave them 50% of it or something like that. I mean, in all fairness, I don't like that, but I can understand they're going to give you the TV time and help give you the opportunity for yourself to become a star.
Yeah.
If you have that star quality, then they deserve to get part of the money. I understand it. I don't like it, but it's only fair. And I've seen a lot worse situations for people.
How much do you think changes with the UFC merger?
That remains to be seen. I hope that Vince continues to have a lot to say about it. But, that's to be seen.
Yeah. When we look back at your entire career, can you pinpoint where your prime is?
Yeah, my best matches ever.
Sure. Or just like, these 6 months, these 2 years, this is Ric Flair's prime.
86 to 89.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, at 90, in early 90s, once I really learned, people to say, that they have, and people I like, I take DBS, I saw Ray's on his podcast, and I'm the king of conversation on podcasts. He said, yeah, Rick wrestled the same match every night. Well, Ted, and I hope you're here this, Ted, I just saw you, I meant to tell you in your face, but you didn't wrestle 300-hour Broadways a year, Ted. You can't help but do the same things you do. You can't come up with 300 different things to do over 300 days a year. I wrestled 410 times in 1 year.
That's crazy.
Twice on Saturday. Have you added it all up?
Yeah, and a lot of those are hour-long matches.
For 10 years, over 300 of them were.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you do some of the same things over and over again. I'm sorry, but until you've worn those shoes, don't judge them.
But so much of you isn't just about the matches. It's about the promos, and it's about how people feel when that match is over.
Exactly. Yeah. You hope that you've given them everything, and that's the hard thing is if you really take pride in yourself, you're going to give 200 people the same, which I've wrestled for an hour in front of many times, like when I was in the smaller towns in Kansas and stuff like that, or like in Oregon, some of the smaller towns. But you have to give them the same performance or level of performance that you give 20,000 people.
Sure.
Otherwise, they go home and say, So, and you got to come back.
Yeah.
Especially in towns that you come back to weekly or every other week. You've got to give them your best.
There's not a single match now that happens where someone does a chop and it's not immediately followed by a woo.
Yeah.
When did that start?
I don't know, but I watch it sometimes and I think to myself, guys, watch when I chop somebody. They go down. Just going back and forth. I don't understand. I'm not going to critique anything. That's what I've learned not to do, because you can't say anything because someone doesn't go, oh, God, he said something terrible about me. But I watch sometimes where they'll chop each other and just to get the sound effect, right?
Yeah.
But they accomplish nothing. But they want the crowd ain't reacting, so, whoa, I'll chop somebody. Oh, woo, they go woo. And then the other guy goes, well, they'll go woo for me too. I mean, it's absurd.
So for you, what's the psychology behind one of the chops you do?
Well, first of all, the guys, I hit people really hard, which like Steamboat and I, you can look back and I've been Terry Funk and I, well, name it, all the guys in the old days, they didn't mind getting hit. And now it's a matter of timing. I mean, it's when to do it, not just to do it, not just for the noise. I was oblivious to the noise back then, but it just became something that caught on, and that's, that was nothing that I planned. But it's kind of like a woman chop, and then pretty soon they're going woo, and it all fell together.
With that said, do you feel like there's something that's missing from wrestling now that you had, or that your era had?
Not with everybody, because some of those like Charlotte and I'm not going to list the talent that I had, but there's a lot of talent that understands, how that you have to be able to put things in at times in the match when they are more meaningful. She's the master of that now. She can flip the gears. She can turn it around. And there's a couple other people like that now. AJ Styles is really good. I'm not going to start the list because I'll leave somebody out and then somebody else will get upset. But it's being able to turn the audience where they're reacting to what you want them to, instead of them telling you what to do. Does that make sense?
Of course.
A lot of guys listen to the audience, and then instead of listening to what Vince says in Gorilla or Michael Hayes, Gorilla is where we call the area you come out of, right? Yep. For entrances.
Gorilla position.
They run to they run to the computer to see what the fans are saying.
Yeah.
Social media has ruined it. Some of these kids would rather have someone that knows nothing about wrestling, nothing, say, God, that was cool, when it was the living shit. In other words, only care about what the guy says to sit in that chair, whether it be Hunter, Vince, Michael Hayes. Those guys all have experience.
Yeah.
Listen to what they're saying. Don't listen to what the fans are saying. When the fans own you, and social media owns a lot of people. Yeah. It's upset me. But, I've learned now that, hey, I'll be 70. That's my new goal, my new thing now. Stay alive till I'm 75.
Come on.
I got 5 months left.
Then what's the goal? I mean, we need you for much longer, Rick.
I need to be here till 95, but I'll take 75.
95?
If I live 75 years after where I've been, that's 3/4 of a century. That's a lot.
I feel like you could live to be 100.
I hope. They're planning my birthday party in 5 different hotels already.
Do you think? I feel like does cannabis play into this?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. I feel like it's probably helping you, maybe with some pain management.
No, nothing. I swear to God.
That's incredible.
I don't know. If I have a pain, I take Celebrex. What cannabis has helped me is to get off of Xanax. Because when I was traveling, I ate Xanax like candy. Just because when you're doing so much international flying, and the Ambien didn't really work for me, but not a lot of Xanax, but it's maybe 10 milligrams.
Yeah.
But when you're flying overseas back and forth, like 1 week, and I've told people this, and they can look at my schedule. I got it in black and white. Wrestle in Sydney, Australia for an hour one night. Auckland, New Zealand for an hour the next night. St. Louis, the next an hour that week. Atlanta, and then back to Tokyo in 1 week. Yeah, you're going to eat something. You're going to eat something or take something.
Yeah.
So I drank myself, and then when I got the jitters, I took a Xanax. So now the edibles have helped. If I stay consistent on them, I never go near Xanax.
There's a lot of people that will say, I don't care what anybody says. WrestleMania 24, Ric Flair versus Shawn Michaels, that is Ric Flair's last match to me.
Yeah, it should be.
You talk all the time about how you call stuff in the ring. That much, I think it's perfect. That's the most perfect retirement match.
Sean told me to shut up, and he actually, Sean said, keep your mouth shut. Do exactly the thing I tell you. No one's ever told me that in my entire life.
During the match, you mean?
Before we walked out to it.
So Sean called the entire match out?
Sean called the whole thing.
Did you talk at all backstage
No.
about what was going to happen?
Oh yeah, of course we did.
Okay.
Oh yeah. No, we rehearsed.
Because you say so often, let's call it in the ring.
Yeah.
No, I need to hear
Yeah.
it.
No, we had it worked out real well. We didn't. I had no idea that I would be received that well. You kind of wish. And I thought, all the way going through, I said, why couldn't we do this in Greensboro or Atlanta, where I'm sure they go crazy? But they fell for it in Orlando. And then they gave me that hour-long retirement speech, which will go down in history as the longest retirement speech of all time. Rick. No, we rehearsed the match. I mean, talked about it. Didn't rehearse it really, but we went through it. But he just said to me right in front of everybody, "Keep your mouth shut." And then said, "Let's do this thing." Here we go. And when I walked out the door, I had no idea that people would be that excited. And of course, Jim Ross called it. It was it's emotional to think about it now.
The moment right before he delivers that sweet chin music, and you get up on your feet, you do that, come on, and your lip is quivering a little bit.
I knew it was over.
But it's like this moment that I don't care who you are, that brings a tear to your eye. Because then it cuts to the perfect shot of Shawn Michaels. I'm sorry. I love you. Boom. I mean...
Nothing will ever follow that. It was legit.
Like, it's a romantic moment. It's a special moment. It's an emotional moment.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine wanting to wrestle another match after a perfect ending like that.
When you're paying alimony to 3 people at one time.
Yeah.
That's the only reason it caused it. I just got myself jammed up. I blame it on myself, but the day that I left wrestling, I've been doing it for 39 or 40 years. The next day, we were in St. Croix with my wife, and I was miserable. I just was so used to walking in that locker room and how you doing, the guys, and going to catering, and then I couldn't get myself to stay home. I had to go out at night. I'm still the same way. I have a really hard time sitting home. I don't drink at all at the house. There's not one bit of alcohol in my home. I'm a social drinker.
Yeah.
I like to talk and have fun and laugh. Bo knows I drag Bo around the country now. See, I didn't know Bo drank. Now I found the secret.
You like to hold court at the bar. I've seen it from a distance. I've never been in the circle, but my goodness, it is a magical thing to watch.
Yeah, if there's a court to be held.
And it's funny, like...
I'll call him in if I have to.
Even just walking through the lobby this morning, like, you like looking at women. I love seeing it.
Like you didn't look at the dark-haired chick too with the white pants on? Okay. Yeah.
He remembers the color of pants.
Hey, I'll look at her again if I walk out and hope she's still here. God, be sitting at the bar, please.
I noticed you don't talk a ton about your time in TNA. What are the highlights of your time in TNA?
Jay Lethal.
The greatest TNA promo of all time.
Yeah, Jay Lethal beating on Hulk. Hulk was going through so many problems physically with his back. Yeah, that was that time frame when he had like 3 or 4 back operations. But anytime I was around Hulk, and then of course the thing that I just couldn't get rid of, and I never should have gone. I could have done something else too, but the being around Bischoff and Russo is enough to make anyone want to just kill them. I mean, it's I don't know. I've never Bischoff. I try to forgive him, and then I see like that documentary they did on me, and he brings up the example of why he had to fire me for a year and sent me home. When guys weren't showing up for steroid tests, he ran the company like it was it just with him and me, he couldn't get rid of me. Out of sight, out of mind, didn't work. Been there too long, done too much, been a big part of it. And then also another big mistake was they should have never ever called WCW. They should have bought the NWA. I mean, like Turner he had the money to buy the NWA. Those guys they wanted like 100 and something thousand. But I get WCW, but then Jim Herd, I mean, one mistake after another. And then they had that little bitty run, and it really was 83 weeks. But at the end of the 83 weeks, where were they? Bankrupt and bought.
Yeah.
ATM, he gave money to guys that never drew a dime in the business. He gave money to everybody but me.
You didn't make a lot of money in WCW?
No, nothing.
Really? Wow.
No, I put everybody over, but
Yeah.
I didn't make any. I mean, I made money.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you'll see Hulk later on today. Hulk knows. Well, I'm not going to get into Hulk. But Hulk, I mean, the thing that number one, thinking highly of him as a person because he's been such a good friend to me, especially when my son was sick and we didn't have insurance and hospital bills and all that. But, you can't help but admire him for surrounding himself with smart people. Mm. And in this insensitive business, and it's insensitive, when they're done with you, they don't give it. I mean, it's it. Unless you have a personal relationship or you're entrenched with them. Does that make sense?
Yep.
But even through the hard times, it's easy for people to forget. And that's normal in life. It's the same with our business. And Hulk just outsmarted them all. Mm. And I'm glad he did.
When you
can't resent a guy. I didn't like it at the time that he was making 25 times more than me, but I didn't hold it against him.
25 times more in WCW? Wow.
Oh no, but I meant
Yeah.
I'm being hypothetical. Okay. Making
a lot more.
10 times more
Sure.
than me. Okay. But I don't resent him for the other guy should have said, well, Rick, you found Hulk for me. You brought him in. You went and got Savage. Here, I'm going to pay you too. But he just love Hulk. Got nothing, but I don't have one good thing to say about Bischoff or Herd. The last couple of years there was just a nightmare for me. Shaving my head. They just had to have it.
Mm. When you look back on your entire career, you're almost 75 years old. How do you define success?
Success for me was going to work and whether it was wrestling an hour and a half, having the building full, having a great match, and having a great time with my friends afterwards. Mm. That's success. Mm. Driving a nice car, seeing your kids grow up with the cars they want, live in a big house, biggest house in the biggest town, in the biggest I had all that shit. I was making that up.
This is where the line is.
I had a 12,000 square foot that nobody ever left the kitchen in.
This is again
there are parts of the house I've never even seen.
Where the line is blurred between who Ric Flair the man is and who Ric Flair the wrestler is.
Yeah, getting in that Mercedes every day.
If on your very first day as a pro wrestler, when you were about to make your debut, if you happened to be there, and this version of you was there, the veteran, and you were able to pull that veteran aside and say, "Can you give me some advice?" What's the advice you would give to that Ric Flair who was making their debut?
You got a lot to learn, kid. I was the living shit. Are you kidding? I would have gone. Just FYI, if you want to be something in this business, motherfucker, you need to get back and leave the building now, go over and start working out and forget about having a beer. Just pretend like tonight never happened because you're the living shit. What's your name, Ric Flair? You might want to rethink that too. After that match, you might want to change. You may want to change your identity.
How many matches till you weren't the living shits anymore?
Oh, quite a few. Probably a year's worth.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I got better each time, but it's not a craft that you pick up. And believe me, when I started, the old timers did not want the young kids to come along. It was a battle every night. We don't want, especially like when a guy like when Steamboat came along, and I was pushing hard for Steamboat, man. I mean, so many of the older guys were so mad at me. I go, guys. I mean, I was young then too, but I was already established, and I was a bad guy. The good guys are the ones that get wrecked over a handsome new guy coming along, you know. And I go, guys, this Steamboat's going to be special. I mean, the fight was on, though, man. But Ricky just turned out to be the best, and a legitimately tough kid too. So he didn't take any shit.
Who is the GOAT in your opinion?
The GOAT. Well, I think to me the GOAT is the guy that did the most for the business. Not necessarily doesn't that mean he had to be the best wrestler, but the guy that meant the most to our business, and the guy that saved, in my eyes, saved WWE, Steve Austin. Yeah, you can never. I mean, what Steve did, and then to be injured and retire at 39. You know, I mean, I keep forgetting this until people remind me. I don't see Steve as much as I used to, but he quit it. I mean, he had to quit because of a broken neck at 39. Yeah, he got back in and that, but I mean, think about that. I mean, and he took a couple of swings at it. You know, they put one label on him, but when he found that niche, him and Vince, the attitude there, but it was Stone Cold, man. Stone Cold, Shawn, Mike Tyson, that, and we were arguing about with the NWO who's going to win a match, and can we go with 3 minutes instead of 10? I mean, it's just bullshit. But that's when all of a sudden where Bischoff didn't know how to run a company. He just gonna, you know, and then he put himself into it, which made it even worse. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Yeah, I think people forget that Austin's run was like 5 years.
Yeah, but it was a 5-year run that made him a multimillionaire, and he put the time in. And I'll say, Steve, I love this about Steve had such an appeal to the fans that we'd be in arenas where there were, you know, $300,000 house. Like I remember one night we were in Buffalo, New York, which you want to get the hell out of. And Buffalo isn't what it used to be by any means, right? Steve sat in the building and drank beer with the Marks, and they had 5,000 an hour after the show was over, throwing Steve beers. Steve was in there drinking. I go, Steve, let's get the hell out of here, man. No, but he gave not only in the ring, didn't need to work hard, but you know, we were all running to get the hell out, beat the crowd, right? Steve's sitting there enjoying it, and man, the people caught on to that.
Yeah. What are you most proud of in your career?
The influence I've had on other people, whether they want to admit it or not.
There's a lot of people you've worked directly with that, I mean, it's clear. It's like this has been a protege of Ric Flair, whether that's behind the scenes or that's on camera. Who is someone that you've been paired with that you feel like had the most potential?
Someone that I was paired with to wrestle with? Oh, it's Steamboat for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, but I had great runs with Dusty, great chemistry with Dusty, great runs with Sting, great run with Hulk, you know, when they let us wrestle each other. I mean, I loved wrestling Hogan. That was when Hogan came down that aisle. I've only seen 3 guys in the history of the business get the applause from the crowd where they just go in a frenzy, and that's Hulk, Kerry Von Erich,
and also
somebody else I was going to say. Well, those two were. Oh, and Steve, of course, when the glass breaks.
And you.
Yeah. Not really, because I was always a heel. You know what I mean?
I don't know. There's something about.
I mean, I'll tell you another guy. He didn't stay in it long enough to be, but I mean, I just watched him the other night, and I am such a fan of The Rock. I mean, I know he grew up liking me and he respects me and that, but you open a show with Dwayne The Rock Johnson, you got a lot of shit to follow, man. I don't care who you are. I mean, that is when he came out there the other night. I didn't know he was going to be on the show. I about died. Wasn't I watching that with you, Bo? Yeah, he came out. I mean, and that poor Austin Theory kid. I like him a lot, but what are you gonna do? You're not gonna joust to Dwayne. The Rock goes.
The fact that was unannounced.
He goes. The Rock doesn't know who Austin Theory is. I'm sitting there, I'm dying laughing. What's Theory gonna say? Well, I don't know who you are. I don't think so.
The fact that he came out unannounced, like it was a genuine surprise.
I know, but The Rock doesn't know who Austin Theory is. You got to admit that's pretty strong. Did you ever see the stuff he did when he played the guitar with Vicky Guerrero?
Of course.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's right in there too. I hate to leave. I didn't mean that he wasn't a big part of it. I feel like Steve was, where The Rock had so many different opportunities.
Yeah.
I think the big dream was always to go to Hollywood and all that. But watching him this weekend interact with Dion on game day, and I mean,
yeah,
he's just got an incredible personality, man. I mean, I got all the time in the world for him, and looks like $1 million, and a really nice guy.
Yeah, that guy has this quality about him where he makes everybody that he's talking to feel really special.
I know. He doesn't bullshit.
Yeah.
He doesn't cut corners. He just says what he thinks, and I love that.
Yeah.
And he carries himself. I mean, he literally, when he was sitting there in the middle of that crew on game day, he didn't see anybody else.
Yeah.
Didn't see Herbie. Didn't see. Of course, it was always entertaining, but wait just a minute. When Course was going to The Rock, wait just a minute.
Now I can't stop thinking about when he sang the song for Vicky.
Oh my God,
Biatch, you look horrible tonight.
Who can do that, man?
So good.
That's so much better than taking my clothes off.
No, come on. I don't know. Taking your clothes off and strutting, unmatched, Rick.
Different era.
The strut is unmatched. It is so good.
Thank you.
It's so good. Look, I want to be super respectful of your time, but
no, I'm fine. I can we can.
I could hang for. I could hang all day with you.
I'm not going to the bar till 5.
I'm not either.
We can daytime drink for a while.
When other people woo, Kurt Angle, famous for wooing, Sting, famous for wooing, do they reach out to you and go, Rick, is it okay with you if I woo?
Yeah, but they do it, and Sting doesn't do it nearly enough anymore, and Kurt quit.
Well, yeah. But did they reach out to you and say, hey, is it okay if I woo?
No. But I love Sting doing it. Sting was like the one guy that I could really, I feel like Ricky too, but I feel like Steve had it. He had it right here from day one. But to go 57 minutes, and he's never done that before, and he didn't take a deep breath. I have Steve Borden is a great guy.
Can you believe he's still working now?
I love it. Yeah. I'm happy for him. As long as he stays healthy, that's all I care about.
It's amazing. He's in, he's 63, I think?
Mm-hmm. Just a baby.
Just a baby. It is amazing thinking like and with great respect and great love for you, when you were in your 40s wrestling, people were going, man, Ric Flair's getting old.
Yeah, I know.
Now there's guys in their 40s.
Yeah.
You don't even talk about them being old.
Yeah, well, that's because the people didn't want me around.
Why?
It wasn't good because they were trying to get new guys over. Same problem they're having now. I was on an interview yesterday with Sports Illustrated. They've got all these new kids in NXT, right? And literally, if you look at it, and I'll talk to Sean once in a while, if 1%, let's say there's 100 kids there, if 1%, there's 1% of a chance that John Cena or Roman Reigns or Moxley or Seth Rollins or Ashley or Becky. I mean, there's 1% that someone rises to that level. Probably, it may be less. I mean, you can go all day long, but running, practicing in a ring, going through drills, learn how to do it does not make you a wrestler. It's here, it's passionate, and it's willing to give up. Almost like it is, I'm sure, when you're in medical school, you have to give up everything. You do to be good. To be good at what you're doing. You're traveling across the country, a new baby, and all that.
Yeah.
I'm sure your wife would rather have you home, but you're doing this for a living.
Well, I'm also sitting down with Ric Flair right now.
But I'm serious. I mean, it's hard. It's hard on the family when they're gone.
At what cost has it been to be Ric Flair?
Well, it's been. Of course, I blame myself for my son, so that's the worst. Not that I had anything to do with it, but he was on my watch. So that, and in the fact that, he watched me drink growing up and all that, which had nothing to do with heroin, but I'll always look at that as being probably something I could have worked on more. I didn't think of the two. I didn't think of marijuana and drinking or cocaine and drinking. I didn't see that because I've seen guys do it all and then walk away from it, right? Mm-hmm. But with him, I found out that heroin is not an addiction; it's a disease. And I mean, it almost got to be to the point where every 4 months I would start going. I'd say I was like double checking up on him because he would disappear for a week, and man, when you don't know where your kid is for a week, and it's very difficult to stay in a marriage when you can't, don't have control of a child that is a major component of your family. It was hard.
Do you think that he had what it took could he have followed in your footsteps? Could he have been as great as you?
Oh, absolutely. He was more entertaining to me when he was 16 years old. He was such a great amateur wrestler and baseball player, right? So I built a big trophy case for both he and Ashley in their respective rooms in that big house. And I came home one time, 16 years old, and he had taken one of his big trophies and removed it and put a bottle of Louis XIII there. And I said, "What are you doing?" I said, I put it in my closet, Dad. I said, "Is that Louis XIII, my stuff from upstairs?" I bought 13 bottles from a restaurant that was going out of business in Cincinnati, in Baltimore. And I went upstairs. There was one bottle left. I came back and I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "You and Blackjack aren't booking the territory anymore, Dad." Me and Blackjack aren't booking the territory? He's 16 years old. In other words, saying times have changed. No, I came home one time and we had this big outside bar, granite and all this, tricked out, back to tile in the pool. And my next door neighbor is a dentist. And he goes, "Hey, I really had a good time. I got out of the car and he said, 'Hey, Rick, I really had a nice time with your son and drinking beer with him there. He's very entertaining.'" I said, "Oh, he is nice." I started thinking, my son lives in Shelby. So I said, I get a house and I go, "Reid, was David here?" He said, "No." I said, "Were you drinking with the dentist yesterday?" He said, "Yeah, he's a nice guy, Daddy. We invited him over and we drank for a couple hours. Played pool." He's 17 years old. You tell me. The dentist said, "Your kid's a hell of a guy." You know he's in high school, don't you? Damn it all. He used to kill me, man.
Like father, like son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just didn't have that financial backing that he did. What I was doing, but my parents were nowhere, would never condone or know anything about. Wow.
I saw an interesting fact the other day that out of all 4 members of Evolution, you have had the most recent match.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy to think about?
Yeah. I just saw. Oh yeah, I know. It's funny because Dave just gone off into Hollywood and kicking ass, right? Holy cow! And Hunter, the guy Hunter, he came close. His ejection fraction was in single digits. I mean, that's bad news.
Yeah.
I know I've had 4 heart surgeries, so. And Randy's coming back, I think. I saw him. I think he's contemplating it. But there again, he's had that back injury. There's always it takes you a while. You hurt your back, man, and it's one of those things. Then it becomes a mental thing. Because after I broke my back in an airplane crash, to this day, I mean, even when I was working out with Jay, I land on my left side. I can't land on the flat. I could never get myself to run into the turnbuckle as hard as I could have, like I did before that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's here.
Huh.
So that's another. Randy and I were talking about it at Bray's funeral. It's tough to just all of a sudden start throwing yourself back in when you've been off for a couple of years. The greatest thing in our business of all is time off is your worst enemy. Because your skin gets soft, and then you come back in, and you're tearing up your skin in your elbows, your knees. But if anybody can do it, it's him. Randy's got unlimited skill. God, he's good. He's smooth, good. Timing's right. His dad was great. Grandfather was great. It's a hell of a story with Randy Orton.
So, Rick, I end every conversation with the same question. And by the way, thank you for being awesome. Thank you for being the man.
Thank you.
You are the best. I could literally sit here and talk for the next 6 hours before we get our drinks and hang out in the bar.
Is it 6 hours? Is that long?
We got like 6 more hours.
You think they're going to white pants up at the bar? I'll just wait for you here.
Gratitude's such an important part of my life. I wake up every day, I say out loud 3 things I'm grateful for, and I end every interview with that. So what are 3 things that you're grateful for as we sit here right now?
Well, the 2 most things I'm grateful for is the relationship I have with my 2 girls. I can't say enough. That's the most important thing. Second thing would be, even though we're on and off and back and forth, is Wendy has treated me, when we've been through some tough times, just because it's me. Once I came down here, I just got back into my old mode again. Once I got back up on my feet, which was hard on her, and but I'm thankful for my relationship with her. I know that no matter where we are in life, she'll always be there for me. And number 3 is the fact that at my age, when they say when you're 50, if you have 5 friends, you're the luckiest man in the world. At almost 75, I've got 20 really close friends, which means a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I can, everybody has favorite people they like to be around, but I got 20 people I can call right now and will be right with me. And that's very rewarding.
Yeah.
And I have to add something else. They have the respect of people like you at your position in life and respect me and look back on my accomplishments and reflect on them and say, God, that's pretty damn cool.
I mean, how could you not? You're one of the greatest of all time.
Thank you.
And I always enjoy being able to have a conversation with you. So thank you for this one. And can we end it with a woo?
Woo!
So good.
See you at the Pearl, my brother.